Hello, welcome back. It's so good to see you. So today we are going to be doing a neighborhood gossip video. I feel like I haven't done one of those videos in a very, very long time. But it's been kind of slow, like not a lot has been going on. So it's going to be a neighborhood gossip, but it's really just stuff that's been going on in the neighborhood. I usually have a snack during these videos, but I'm not hungry, so I made some tea, and I haven't had tea in a while, and so I was looking at my different teas, and I found this one, and I'm not sure I've ever had it before. I think I just bought it and then put it in the cupboard. So I thought that I would try this out today, and I brought it up here so you could see what type of tea it is. So if it's good, I can be like, get this. I don't know. I know they have it at Target, H-E-B, and Walmart, so I'm pretty sure they have this everywhere. I know you can get it on Amazon and stuff, but it's decaf. I have to have decaf, so. But it says a creamy decaffeinated indulgence, and it's made with like those fancy bags. Let me open it up to show you. It's those fancy bags that are in like the little sachets. But this smells so good. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's vanilla, but it's like imagine walking into a bakery or something. Like, it's just so I don't remember ever having it before, and it's like full, so I'm thinking that I just got it and then put it in the cupboard and I forgot about it. So we are going to be, I'm not good at tapping with my left hand. I'm better with my right hand. But we're going to be using my new fall mug that I got at Pop Shelf. Oh, it smells so good. I wish you could have some. It's pretty good. It's not the best, because I've had other vanilla tea that is just like, but this is pretty good. Okay, I can't hold that the whole time because I'm a very weak person. I know. Okay, so you know me, I have to have my little keywords over here because I will lose my train of thought so fast. So fast. So I've got little keywords over here. So if I keep looking over here, it's like, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. Okay, so like I said, this is not like, it's not going to be like, oh my god, we're totally going to be spilling the tea here. There was something that was like, oh my god, but most of the stuff is just stuff that's going on in the neighborhood. So it might not be the best, but there is something that I wanted to tell you about, and I feel like I forgot to tell you in the last like life update or neighborhood gossip type thing, because it's about Red Shirt. But this is something that happened like in March, and I put it at the top of my, because whenever something happens in the neighborhood, I make a little list on my phone so I don't forget, but so let me tell you about that first, because Red Shirt said something to me and I had to write it down word for word because I just could not believe that these words came out of his mouth. I'm just making sure it's recording. Okay. So, if you're new to the channel or whatever, I got into a pretty major car accident in February. It might have been the end of January, beginning of February. I don't remember. But it wasn't my fault. We got hit because some guy was on his cell phone. Ugh. It's like, what is so important? Really? I don't even acknowledge my phone when I'm in the car, you know? I'm too busy driving for everyone else. Not that I can drive right now, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I think it was after we got our new car, I was taking the trash out and I opened the garage door. I went out and Red Shirt was out there taking his trash out. And so we met like in the street and we had a conversation. He was like, so you got a new car? Like, you know, ugh. And he was like, what happened to your other car? Did you just want to trade up or something? And so I told him, you know, we got into an accident. And Red Shirt he asked me, he was like, well, did you sue them? And I'm like, no. Like, I just went through insurance. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sue happy. You know what I mean? But apparently Red Shirt is, because he told me that I made a big mistake by not suing them after the accident. And I was just like, nah, I didn't want to, I'm not like that, you know. I was just like, we can go through insurances, that kind of thing, you know. But he said, and I quote, that's what we do. We always get a settlement every time. What? That's what we do. We sue. That's what we do. We always get a settlement every time. He tried to give me the number to his lawyer, and I was like, it's over, and I wouldn't do that anyway, you know. I'm like, it's not something, I'm not trying to scam someone or a company out of money. That's just not me. And then he said, well, it's not illegal. Okay. And then he was like, was it a company vehicle? And I said, no. And he said, shoot, that's where the real money's at. Too bad. I'm like, I was in shock that he said these things to me. And I was just like, okay, you know, like, I don't even remember how that conversation ended, but I just remember being in shock. And then I'm like, he said, that's what we do every time, when we always get a settlement. Neighbor lady, I've decided to give this woman a name. She's the dog hater. Dog hater just brought her dog outside, so I'm sure there's going to be barking because, let's see, it's 101 degrees outside. That dog is going to go to the bathroom and then be like, bark, bark, bark. It's 8:30 in the morning and it's 101 degrees, so it's only going to get hotter, you know. So, back neighbor, her name is Dog Hater. Anyway, but I'm just like, does Red Shirt think when he speaks or think before he speaks? Because I don't think so. Because, like, did he not realize the impression that would give me? That, like, is he just looking to get into accidents? Because they have had multiple cars. And I'm like, you know what I mean? And he's like, shoot, because it wasn't a company vehicle. He's like, shoot, that's where the real money's at. I'm not driving around looking for company vehicles trying to be like getting my next paycheck. You know what I mean? Like, that was just a very strange wording that he used. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how's he just gonna say stuff like that? But whatever. Anyway, that happened a long time ago, and I forgot. I guess I forgot to talk about it in my last neighborhood gossip. I don't know, because it was still there. Maybe I did say it and I just forgot to erase it. I don't know. But anyway, when I reread that, I was like, what? Like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I have to tell you. I have to tell you. I wish that I could have, or like be a little fly on the wall inside Red Shirt and Pink Shirt's house, because it's like, what goes on in there, you know? Like, what? Anyway, okay, so, alright, this next thing, this is kind of like a gossip, okay? Because my neighbor is like, and this isn't even like one of my next door neighbors or across the street. This is a neighbor that is by the mailboxes. And I was like, oh my god, is our neighbor racist? But then I was like, no, our neighbor's not racist. They're just stereotyping. So me and my husband, we were going to check the mail. And you know me, I walk very slow. But on this day, I decided to walk even slower. Because what was happening? So, our mailboxes are like, there's a stop sign, and then you gotta walk a little bit, and then there's the mailboxes. So you gotta walk past like 3 or 4 houses to get to the mailboxes, like this way, okay? So, we're walking, and there's this guy who starts mowing his lawn, and he had just moved into this house, probably like maybe just a few days before, okay? It was for sale. I saw it be put up for sale, and then the sale sign went down, and I saw the moving trucks and stuff, so I know that he had just moved in. So, he's, you know, is mowing his lawn. And about 10 seconds after he starts his lawnmower, he's like going up and down his yard, paying attention to his yard, his grass. Well, his next door neighbor, like, kind of runs out of her house, slams her door, stands in her yard, staring at him with her hands on her hips, just looking so mad. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, this happened so fast. And I was like, whoa, that lady's mad. And I'm like, maybe he, you know, I don't know. I had no idea what was going on, but I was like, what's going on here, you know? And he's not paying attention to her because he's paying attention to his lawn. Well, on his way back, he sees her, and she's like trying to lean over and get in front of his face. So he turns off his lawnmower, and she starts yelling at him. And I'm like, what is going on here? Because she starts yelling at him, saying, I pay you every single week, and you haven't been to my house in 3 weeks to cut my yard, and you're cutting their yard. You need to stop cutting their yard and cut my yard first. This man just happens to be Hispanic, okay? And the reason why I'm saying she was stereotyping him is because most, not all landscapers in this area, but most of the landscapers happen to be Hispanic. So she saw a Hispanic man mowing someone else's yard and just assumed that he worked for her landscaping company. And I told my husband, I was like, oh my god, she doesn't know, because he's not a landscaper. He was her new neighbor, and he was mowing his own yard. So I'm like, by this time I'm at the mailbox, and I'm like pulling each piece of mail out one at a time, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because I had to know how this was going to end up. And he was just like, he was apologizing to her. He was like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, you better be sorry. And like, he's like, no, I'm so sorry, but I live here. He's like, I don't work for your landscaping company. I just moved in. And the pause that she took was like, you could tell. I couldn't see anything because my back was to them because I was checking my mail. I was just like, oh my god, she probably just felt so awful. And then she started apologizing. She's like, I'm so sorry. And then she started explaining why she was complaining about the landscapers and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh my god, that has got to be the most embarrassing thing, because that's the first impression that your new neighbor will have of you forever. I was just like, oh my gosh, I was embarrassed for her. And I was like, okay, I've got all the mail, let's go home. But I definitely took my time checking the mail that day. That was some entertainment for sure. Anyway, okay, so one day, most of this neighborhood gossip that I get is because my dining room is at the very front of my house, and it has 3 windows, okay? So we can see very far down the street this way, and you know what I mean? And we can see a lot, especially when I'm in the dining room, because sometimes I'll do crafts there, or we'll do homework, or, you know, have dinner or breakfast, that kind of thing. So that's where most of my gossip comes from. I'm not just like constantly looking out the windows. Anyway, so one day we were having dinner, and this isn't even neighborhood gossip. This is just something very strange. And I'm like, why does strange stuff always happen in my yard? Why? I don't know. So we're having dinner, and I don't know, we're like having a conversation, and then all of a sudden David's like, oh my gosh, that's a huge bird. But like the way that he was like, oh, it made us all look, you know? And it was quite a large bird. And so like we jump up because it wasn't like a vulture or anything, but it was quite large. I don't know what kind of bird it was. And then what did he say? So we all look out there, and then David's like, oh look, it's holding its baby. Talons squeeze. I was like, yeah, sweet, go sit down, let's finish eating dinner. Nope. It was holding another bird, but it was not its baby. And it's not being very nice. And Emma saw it, and she was like, and I was like, mm-mm. I did not want her to tell David, because that would be very upsetting for him, I think. So I was just like, like, don't say anything, right? So we're done with dinner. I don't know, the kids go brush their teeth or whatever, and I go out back to take Ava potty. And the second I walk out the door, Ava, like, her head like jerks this way, you know, and she just stands there for a second, and I'm like, because when she does that, I get scared, because I'm like, oh my god, is there like I don't know, something, you know, like, is it a snake or a bug, or like, you know, because I don't like her getting those things either. I don't know, there's something on the window, there's like a bee by the window, it's driving me nuts. Anyway, that's gonna drive me insane, like, go away, bee. It's very distracting doing this. Anyway, so she just like jerks, and I'm like, oh god, what is it? And I see like stuff in the backyard on the ground, and I'm like, what is that? So I pick her up, because whatever it is, I don't want her to get it, you know. And I go back there, and I'm like, oh my god, it was a murder massacre scene. Okay, there were feathers everywhere, feathers everywhere. And then I'm like, oh my god, because I saw a skull with brains had been pulled out. Like there was a string of bird brain, or something. I don't know what bird brains look like, but there was a string of like hanging out of the skull. Okay, and then a little bit over here was a beak. That was all that was left, and I was like, oh no, because the feathers, that was the bird. That was the bird that we saw. It flew from the front yard all the way to my backyard and then decided to commit the murder right there. So me and my husband had to clean that up. That was fun. We took like a black trash bag in the back. I immediately took Ava inside and I was like, you can go potty in a minute. Then I called my husband out there and he was like, what? And I was like, get out here right now. And then he saw it and he was like, what the hell? So we got a black trash bag and put it in there, and then I immediately took the trash all the way out. All the way outside, you know. But and the kids were like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, nothing. There was just some trash out there. I guess it like flew over the fence or something. I don't know. I didn't want to tell them, especially my son. Oh, it's holding its baby. No. Okay. What else? Okay, so after we have like, there's like a neighborhood, what do they call them, parks and stuff. There's a really nice one that's part of our neighborhood, like towards the front, and then the side neighborhood they just got one renovated. Is that a word? Renovated, where they redo it. That one just got renovated. That is gonna drive me insane. That stupid bee, why won't it go away? Anyway, and then we have one in the back from that neighborhood, and that neighborhood is probably like one of the oldest neighborhoods, so it's super old. Like probably it was built like in the 60s or 70s and never redone. Well, after the flooding that happened at the end of May and then the hurricane, one day I was going to check the mail and I heard these loud like bangings, and like I was like, what is happening, you know? And so my husband came home and I was like, something's going on and I need to know about it. So we went down there and we walked around, and they had all these bulldozers and like these diggy things, whatever. And there was it was like a playground and then a basketball tennis court type thing. They tore it all down, and I'm like, why would they do that? They tore it all down, and they even took up the ground. So now there's like this big property back there that is just completely empty, and I was like, ooh, I wonder if they're gonna put like a new park there, you know, because that would be kind of cool to have a new park literally right at the end of my street, you know, instead of towards the front, because then at least we could walk to that one. I mean, we can walk to this one, but that's too far for me to walk, you know. But they've never done anything with it, and so people are just speculating like, oh, hopefully they'll redo it, or maybe they'll put, I don't know. They were suggesting all these things, even though it's not part of our neighborhood at all. They're like, do this, you know, because we're all connected, so we can use the other neighborhood's parks if we want to, right? But they still have not said if it's going to be anything or what it will be, but people are putting in their requests. So what do you think people are requesting be put there? I would not pick this but apparently it's a big deal that people want this back there. And I'm like, oh, what? They want it to be turned into a pickleball court. Why not something for the kids? You know what I mean? I don't know, like, I guess kids could play pickleball, but like, I still don't even understand what pickleball is. Like, I just don't, like, what? Is it like a small version of tennis or something? I don't know what it is. I don't know, like, the rules. I don't know. It's just, what? And there was a tennis court. Couldn't you have played pickleball at the tennis court? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just glad that the basketball thing is gone because I hate the sound of basketballs. Ugh. Especially around here because it echoes like crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And I'm like, I hate it. But anyway, would you want a pickleball court? Like, are you into pickleball? I feel like it's such a big thing now, and I'm just like, what? What is, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. But I'm not a huge tennis fan either. Like, I don't get, it's like, to me, when I see pickleball, I'm like, it just looks like a little mini version of tennis. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so the park up at the front is also where the swimming pool is. And you know how every year I always have something to complain about the pool, because there's always some kind of pool drama, you know, like, ugh. Not this year. This is the first year, no pool drama. It was like such a great, happy pool experience this year. It was fantastic. So I think they're like, maybe that's a wasp or something, and they're trying to build like a little nest thing or whatever by the window. I don't like that. It's very distracting. Let me go close that blind or something, because I can't stop looking at it. Okay, I just closed that one little blind so I couldn't see, but you know what I just saw, which I'm real mad about, because I hate them. I don't know what their actual name is, but it's the love bugs. Oh, I freaking hate love bugs. What is their purpose? I just saw my first freaking love bug. I hate them because they swarm. It's like, oh no. It happens like twice a year. I think like in April-ish, and then again in September. So here we go. Here we go. I hate them. I don't remember what I was talking about now because I'm so mad about the stupid love bugs. Good thing I have my notes here. What was I talking about? Oh, happy pool experience, okay? There was no drama because this year, usually it's just the lifeguards and it's just a bunch of teenagers, right? So it's basically like they do whatever they want, they let their friends in, like, rules? What rules, you know? And like, I'm a very rule person, especially because I have kids and I would like for certain things not to happen at the pool because it's inappropriate and, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, so, but this year, the pool company, like the management company or something, had someone out there every day to, I guess, manage things because the lifeguards need management, okay? But I unintentionally got the lifeguards in trouble. But I tried to get them out of trouble. I tried to backtrack and help them out. Okay, so it was probably like the first week of, the pool opening or whatever, and the one of the times we went, and the pool opens at 12 o'clock, so we get there at 12 o'clock, because I would much rather get there earlier than later, because later more people show up. That's when like the unsupervised teenagers show up, and so we always go at 12, swim for like an hour, come home, have lunch, all that stuff. So it was like 11:55, and we get out of the car, and no, it was probably a little bit earlier than that, like 53 or something. We get out of the car to wait, and the management person wasn't there yet, but I saw two of the lifeguards pull up, and they got out, and they looked at their watch, and they were like, the pool is gonna open at 12. And I was like, yeah, no, we're just waiting, because I like to put the sunscreen on the kids and stuff and let it sit for a minute before they jump in the pool, right? So I was like, no, it's fine, I'm just, we're waiting. And she's like, okay, well, we're gonna go up to the store, which is literally like 1 minute away, because it's like a quarter mile. It's like right there at the front. We're just gonna go to the store and get some ices, or whatever they're called. I don't know if they call them freezies or something, whatever. Anyway, and I was like, no, go ahead, it's really hot, whatever, She's like, we'll be right back. So I'm like, okay. And they do. They come right back. They get back before 12, and they open the pool and let us in. And I'm like, yeah, go get your drink, because it's 5,000 degrees outside, So the next day, and after that, then the management company came, and everything. But the next day, we show up, and it was like 11:55 or whatever. We usually show up at the same time, but the management people were there, and so I didn't know that it was just management. So I went to the gate, and they were like, oh, it's gonna be 5 more minutes, we gotta wait for the lifeguards to show up. But I had just seen them pull into the parking lot, and then they were probably like, oh, I see, because then I went and saw them drive off. Like, before I got out of the car, they pulled up, and then they were like, oh yeah, and then they went. And so when I went up there, I'm losing my train of thought. So I go stand there, and he's like, oh, well, we have to wait for the lifeguards to get here. The pool opens at 12. They're not here yet. And he's like, I wonder where they are, because it was 5 minutes for the, and I was like, oh, they were just here, and I saw them drive off. And he was like, what? And I was like, oh no, they did it yesterday. They're just going to go get their drinks, and then they're going to come back. And he said, what? And I was like, well, I'm assuming, I don't know if that's what they went to go do, but that, I'm just assuming that, because yesterday when we showed up, they showed up, and then they were like, oh, we forgot our drinks, and then they went to go get drinks, and they came back. And he was like, they did what? And I was like, but they were back by 12. They let us in, and he was just like, he got really, really mad. And I was like, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. I mean, they're supposed to be here at 12, right? And he was like, yes. And I was like, well, it's not 12. And I looked at my watch, or not watch, but my phone, and I was like, they got 3 minutes. And I was like, come on, guys, get here, because apparently he had been getting complaints, because I guess the management people don't stay all day. They only stay for a few hours, and then they leave. They had been getting complaints about people saying that the lifeguards were leaving in the middle of their shift to go up to the store to get drinks. And I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But I was like, but they were here yesterday when the pool opened. They got here early, and, you know, I explained it, and he was like, yeah, but this just proves that they do leave to go get drinks. And I was like, no, because this is happening before the shift, you know. And he's like, well, they better get here. They better not be 1 minute late. And I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Please get here, because he couldn't let us in until they got there. But he was just like real mad about it. And I was just like, oh my god, oh my god. And then they pulled up and I was like, look, they're here. See, they made it. They can't get in trouble. So I don't know if they got in trouble or not, but because I said, oh no, they were here, they just went to go get their drinks real fast. They'll be right back. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said it. But he had said, he was like, I wonder where they are, because it was 5 minutes till, you know. I felt bad. I was just like, oh my god, oh my god. So I never said anything ever again. Never again, because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, you know. Okay, so that happened like right at the beginning of summer. I guess in the middle of summer, that would be like 4th of July. Our neighborhood was going to have its first annual 4th of July parade. And we always have a parade at Christmas. It's a parade. It's not really a parade. It's like when Santa comes to town. Santa always, I don't know how he gets here. I don't know if he flies here or what, because the reindeer never come. The reindeer always have to stay at the North Pole to like rest and prepare for their big trip on the 24th. But Santa, you know, still gets to come see all the kids in the neighborhood and stuff, because the fire department at the front of our neighborhood, they will have their fire trucks come through, and one of the fire trucks will, they have a sleigh special for Santa here, and they'll pull Santa's sleigh with one of their fire trucks, and it's like a big deal, you know. And the firemen, they will walk behind it and hand out candy canes, and sometimes they'll hand out like little fidget toys and stuff like that, you know. So, and I don't know if I've ever told you, but I think something's going on with Santa and Mrs. Claus, because like the last 2 years, Miss Claus has always traveled with Santa, always, and she always shows up, and they're always so cute together in their sleigh, waving to the kids and stuff. And but the last 2 years, no Mrs. Claus. Maybe she's busy. Maybe she has. Maybe the elves got up to some business when Santa left, so she needed to stay at the North Pole. Maybe there's not drama between Santa and Miss Claus. I don't know. Maybe she had to stay at the North Pole, make sure stuff's still going on, so the elves don't be slacking. I don't know. But anyway, so the fire department does the Christmas parade through the neighborhood. So this year we were going to have our first, my back, I feel like I need to pop it. We were going to have our first 4th of July parade, and it was also going to be done with the fire department, but it was made, there were like this huge announcements and like signs throughout the neighborhood, because they wanted people of the neighborhood to participate, because you could design your own float or decorate your car and be part of this big 4th of July parade. So, and they started announcing this like probably about a month before 4th of July. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like this is a new thing, cool. And so I was excited. I put it on the calendar. I was like, 4th of July parade, you know. And it just kept being posted on Facebook, like hyping it up, you know. And it kept getting closer and closer, and they were like, okay, make sure you have your parade float at the junior high, because the junior high is attached to this neighborhood, and then the parade will start at this time, and blah 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 blah. But the fire truck is going to be at the front of the parade, you know. So people were like, oh, I'm so excited, yay, parade, blah blah blah. So 4th of July comes. The parade is supposed to meet at 1 o'clock at the school, and or you're supposed to meet there like ahead of time, but the parade will start at 1 o'clock. So it's probably going to take about 30 minutes from there to here because they go slow, so that everybody can see. And I'm at the back of the neighborhood. So 1:30 comes around and I'm like, what's going on? So I check Facebook, and Facebook says, all right, the fire truck just got to the school. People are starting to line up. The parade will be getting started soon. Nothing. 2 o'clock comes and I'm like, what's going on? Like, how many people are going to be at this parade? They must be waiting for them to line up. Like, what is going on? So I check Facebook, and 2 o'clock people are posting pictures of like their kids and stuff waiting at the end of their driveway to watch the parade. And, people are just making comments about, ooh, I'm excited, or has the parade started? Like, because they even put out a map of the route that the parade was going to make so that you knew exactly which way they were going to be coming, and you know what I mean? Nothing. So 2:30 comes around. I go to Facebook and I'm like, what is going on? Like, me and Emma, we keep going outside looking, like, where's the parade? Looking down the street, because it will come down this street and then go around and then come to us, so if we go down here and look down there, we'll see it on its way, Nothing. She kept going out there checking. So I kept checking Facebook, like, what is going on? And people are like, where is the parade? My kids are sweating. Like, this is awful. Did I miss it? What time is it? Where is it? Nothing. No, nothing. So then at 3 o'clock, I go on Facebook and I'm like, what is happening? And there was a thing saying, the lady who organized it, she was like, okay, the fire truck had to bail, basically, because there was a fire. So they had to go. But the parade just left the school, so be on the lookout for it. Okay, so we're on the lookout for it. Nothing. I see nothing, and I can't stand outside that long. It's so hot. It's 4th of July, 5,000 degrees outside. So I'm like, I'm just going to go stand up in Emma's room and look out her window, because you can see that part of the street, and then I'll see them turn. So I finally saw this vehicle, which lives in the neighborhood. It's quite funny. But at the front of it, there were 2 massive American flags. So I was like, this is the beginning. So I went running downstairs, not running downstairs, but you know what I mean. I went downstairs. I was like, go outside. It's coming. So they go running outside, and we're just waiting. And the car that had the American flags at the front, it is a Ghostbuster car. Somebody is a huge fan of Ghostbusters in the neighborhood, and they actually either made or bought, I feel like there's hair in front of my face. They either made or bought a Ghostbuster replica car. Like, it even has the labels on the side, and it's the Ghostbuster vehicle. It's a replica, or they made one, but this thing drives around all the time in our neighborhood. It lives right down the street. We also have a umbrella company. That wasn't in the parade, but we have an umbrella company vehicle in the neighborhood as well. If you know about oh god, I can't think of the name of the game. Anyway, whatever. Resident Evil. That's where umbrella company comes from. Anyway, so here comes Ghostbuster. The Ghostbuster vehicle comes down our street, and then right behind it is a golf cart with American flags on it. And in the back of the golf cart, there is a kid sitting there with this big basket full of dum-dums. And so here comes Ghostbusters, here comes the golf cart, and my kids are out there like, yay, the parade is about to happen, you know, like this is the beginning of the parade. The kid with the basket of dum-dums just literally throws them at my kids. He just takes a handful and throws them at the kids, and they just go raining down into my driveway. And then we're just looking down the street. Okay, well, that was the front of the parade. Where's the rest of it? So we keep looking, because I thought that was like the announcement car, because that's what they do with the fire department. There's always a car that like goes through and has like a horn or like a siren to let you know, here comes Santa, get outside. Because the Ghostbuster car had that weird little alarm thing, and so I was like, okay. Where is it? Where's the parade? That was the parade. The fire truck bailed because the fire truck didn't bail. It was doing its job, okay? It had an emergency. But because the fire truck left, so did everyone else. Except for those 2 cars. They still went through and did the route. I was so pissed, and the kids were like, this was the parade, Mom. You made such a big deal about it. And I was like, because it was supposed to be a big deal. It was supposed to be a big deal. I was so mad. And so later I go onto Facebook, and people are pissed because half of the people never even saw it. Never saw it, never heard it, nothing. It was the most disappointing thing ever. And then about 4 o'clock, the lady who arranged the thing, she was like, I hope everybody enjoyed the parade. I'm like, was this lady not even there? Does she not know? She was like, I hope everybody enjoyed the parade. Hopefully next year we get more people to participate. There were more people who participated, but they decided not to do it because the fire truck left. My kids were like, why'd you have us stand outside for that? And I was just like, it was supposed to be amazing. I mean, they amped this thing up for weeks. Okay? Weeks. Made me so mad. So mad. But I'm like, whatever. I mean, at least Ghostbuster guys and the golf cart people still tried, you know. But it was very disappointing. Because I was just like, okay. Because I was like, to the Ghostbuster guys, oh my gosh, you know. Because their car is actually really cool, you know. But that was it. I was like, what? Anyway, so this next thing is quite serious. It's not neighbor gossip. It's just, I cannot believe that these things happen, and literally right there. Like, right there. It's terrifying. And I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't understand it. Okay, so the last neighborhood gossip, I know that I talked about some things that were going on in the neighborhood and in the front of the neighborhood at the gas station, because there were multiple attempts, specifically at that gas station, of kidnapping attempts, okay? And that's just crazy to me. Well, this apparently is like a new common thing to be happening, and it's just terrifying. So this happened probably about a month ago, and I was like, I just couldn't believe, I still can't believe it. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So there was a kid who was walking down the street, and I say kid, he's like 12 years old, okay? my daughter's 11 and I would not let her walk down the street by herself. Like, I'm too overprotective of my kids, like way too much, but it's obviously necessary. So this 12-year-old boy, he's walking down the street. I don't know if he was going to his friend's house or what the deal was, but he's walking down the street and there's this white SUV that comes like rolling up behind him, and I'm sure he could feel them like watching him or something or whatever, but he just kept walking and it just kept creepily following him, and then it sped up and went ahead of him. Then it stopped. A guy got out of the driver's seat, came around and grabbed this kid. This 12-year-old boy grabbed him and tried to get him into his vehicle. Okay, well, this kid started screaming and fighting and punching, and he actually got away. He got away and went running. Well, the kidnapper guy obviously got back in his car and sped off. But there was video footage of it. Thank God. So the police were called, the footage was given, the boy gave his statement, all that stuff. He is safe, okay? So, but I'm just like, this happened right there, okay? I'm just, I don't understand. Because the town that I live in is like, I think it was last year, declared the safest city in the entirety of the United States. The safest city in the whole United States. I'm like, how can that be? But then I'm like, do they not count attempted kidnappings and stuff? Do they only count, well, were they actually kidnapped? Because so many kidnapping attempts happen in this neighborhood, in that neighborhood, at the gas station. It's terrifying. And it's not just here. It's at the Woodlands Mall, at Walmart, at Target. It's like crazy. I don't get it. But it is good that like every single house in this neighborhood has camera footage. Every single house, pointed in all directions. So of course they have video footage of it, you know, but they posted that footage on Facebook. That's how I found out about it. And it was so close, and so I was like, I need to show the kids, because sometimes I feel like I'm too overprotective, but I want them to know this is why. So I showed it to them, and they were just like, oh my gosh, we're never going outside again. My son was like, I don't want to go outside. It's fine. We don't need to go outside. I'm like, you can go outside, but like me or dad have to be with you, you know? But it's like just terrifying, you know? Like why? And like, what would have happened if that kidnapper had an accomplice? Like, he stayed driving and then another person came and grabbed the kid. You know what I mean? Like, or what if the kidnapper was stronger, or the boy was weaker or something? Like, that was very close call. Like, I just, how does this happen? Why? I just don't get it. I don't get it. And it's terrifying when it happens right there. And it was broad daylight. Like, it didn't happen like, you know, at night with a kid walking alone or something. No, this happened, I believe it was a Saturday at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. No big deal. Crazy. The more I drink this tea, the more I like it. Like, I did not like it before, but like I really like it now. What is this even called? HT? I can't My eyes are being weird. Harney and Sons fine teas. It's fancy tea. It's fine tea. Oh my goodness. It's unique and uncommon. Anyway, okay, so I have news on Nurseman. Oh my gosh. There's nothing going on with Nurseman except he moved. I'm assuming that he signed a lease for 2 years, because he's been there for quite some time. And he moved, I guess. I don't, in my mind, I'm like, oh, him and his girlfriend finally decided to move in together and get a house together or something. That's what I have in my mind. I have no idea. But she was there helping him move, so maybe he moved in with her, or I don't know. But it was like, well, that's, in my mind, since that's the storyline I'm going with, I was like, oh, well, that's nice, you know. But then I was like, oh no, that means that someone else is going to be moving in. And if you have seen my neighborhood gossips before Nurseman existed, you know the trauma and the terribleness that happened at that house before, because it was rented out to a group of about probably 5 or 6 maybe college boys. So it was like, ugh, awful. And I'm like, I just don't, people have been looking at it, but no one has rented it yet, because it's through a renting company now, and it is expensive. Oh my god. I'm like, it's like double what I pay for my house now. Double. And like, it's insane. It's insane. The only reason that I'm like, I hope it's not going to be a group of people, is because that house, it's quite large. It's about the same size as my house, but it's set up differently. That house has 2 master bedrooms. There's a master bedroom upstairs, there's a master bedroom downstairs, and then there are 3 other, or not bathroom, bedroom. Master bedroom upstairs, master bedroom downstairs, and then there are 3 other bedrooms, plus a kitchen, living room, laundry room, you know, normal house stuff. But so either a very large family, that's why I was so confused on why like Nurseman lived there, because it was just him and his son. What they do with all the other rooms, you know. So it's either going to be a very large family or a frat house. And I'm like, oh god. So every time I see someone, because it's directly across the street, every time I see someone go to like view the house, I'm like, oh my god, do they have kids with them? Are these teenagers? Who is this? I don't know. I was going to tell my sister about it, because she is leasing a house right now, and her lease is coming up in November. So I was going to tell her about this house, because I mean, I don't care if my sister lives across the street, but I know that my sister is quiet. And it would be cool, because my niece also, they like live in a house together. My niece is an adult and she's got her own kid, but I don't know, they've always just lived together like that, but they have separateness in the house, you know. Anyway, so I was like, well, you know, my niece can live upstairs. The upstairs can be her half, and the bottom stairs downstairs. I'm like, that would work out great. But then I saw the price and I was like, oh my god, I don't think I'm gonna tell my sister. I know my sister pays a lot for her house now, but I don't think she pays that. They keep reducing the price, but literally by $5. Like every week they reduce the price by $5. What? That $5 is going to make a difference at some point, you know. But anyway, so fingers crossed, it's a very nice, quiet family, not frat house. Family. Fingers crossed. Okay, and so the last thing is quite funny, I think. It has to do with Red Shirt's family, okay? And again, we were having dinner. I think this was last Sunday. Yeah, it was last Sunday because the trash cans were out on the street. Because you're supposed to put them out on the street the night before, because sometimes they come quite early. And so we were having dinner, and my husband, he has direct eye contact with their house in the seat that he sits in. And so we were eating, and he just looked over there, and he was like, oh my God. So Red Shirt is outside washing his car. He is always washing his car. He washes his car probably 2-3 times a week. My husband has the ideas because he doesn't like Pink Shirt, and he's like, he just wants to be outside all the time to get away from her. That's not I was like, no, but that's what's going on in his mind, so I'm like, okay. But Pink Shirt was out there as well. She was standing in the garage talking to Red Shirt about something. Red Shirt is cleaning his car. His 2 older kids not outside. The younger kid, who is about to turn 3, I believe that him and my husband share the same birthday, so he'll be 3 in a few days. He's outside. This kid, no one's watching him. Of course no one's watching him, because why would you watch your kid, especially in a neighborhood with kidnappers, Anyway, I watch their kids more than they do. Anyway, so, oh my God, there's that freaking wasp again. It flew up higher. Okay, don't look over there. I forgot to tell you. I'll get back to the story in a second. You know how well Pink Shirt watches her kids? Just so well. Well, now, because she no longer works. She stopped looking for a job, I guess. I don't know. Because she's been at home for a long time now. Which is good. It'll save on daycare, for her. But now, she's the neighborhood babysitter, like unofficial, because people will post like, can somebody watch my kid on this day, or like, I have to work and blah blah blah. She's like, bring him over here, I'll watch him, obviously for money. But now, since school has started, there are 2 people who dropped their kids off at her house, and I'm just like, is she actually watching them? I don't know. I'm worried, but I don't want to be like, you shouldn't. I don't want to get in their business, because they don't know. They're just neighborhood people, and they're not even people that live on our street. Like, who can just hand their kid over to someone like that? You know what I mean? She's active on the Facebook page and stuff, and she's very nice. Every time I've talked to her, she's very nice. But it's like, I know what kind of mom she is, and I'm like, I wouldn't want her watching my kids, So now she's the neighborhood daycare lady. One of them. There are multiple neighborhood daycare ladies that are licensed and stuff like that. She don't got a license. She's just watching people's kids. I haven't seen anybody run outside, so at least she's got the front door locked. Okay. Whatever. Anyway, so Red Shirt and Pink Shirt are outside having a conversation as Red Shirt's cleaning his car. And their youngest, Baby Shirt, yes, that is their baby's name, Baby Shirt, because this kid only walks around in a shirt all the time. No pants, no shoes, just t-shirt, diaper, and that's it. This kid's 3 years old. He should be starting, well, he'll be 3 years old in like a few days, but he should be starting potty training, and I think that he is there. Okay? I think he's there because he's running up and down the sidewalks with his shirt and diaper on. And then he stands next to like the big trash bin that's by the street. And my husband's like, what is he doing? Because it looked like he had his hands in his diaper, okay? And I was like, oh my gosh. And this is all happening while we're eating dinner. It's like our entertainment. So we're all looking like, what is going on? You can't see into our house. You can't, because I've been over to their house, and it's just, you can't see. And so anyway, so this kid, it does look like his hands are going into his diaper. Dog hater. And then all of a sudden, he takes his diaper off, just completely off, walks over to the big garbage bin outside, lifts it up, which I'm dying just by him touching, because I am a germaphobe, and I don't like when people touch garbage cans or bins with their just raw hands. Because I've seen the garbage men doing their garbage truck thing, and like so much trash and garbage germs, and just no, okay? And they don't clean their bins or anything, so I was freaking out because the baby was touching garbage. Anyway, but the baby lifted up the lid and then just threw his diaper in there. Like, I'm done with that. Walks over into Nurse Man's driveway, although it's no one's driveway right now, right? And then he has his hands on his hips and just starts peeing in the driveway. We're all just like, what? Oh my God. Because Pink Shirt and Red Shirt have no idea. They're not looking. They're not paying attention. And then Baby Shirt just walks off. But the shirt is like just low enough to cover his business. So you don't see that he's not wearing a diaper. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. This baby is just walking around. My husband's words, this came from Deadpool, but he's like, their kid's just shirt cocking it down the road. Oh my God. So he's naked, no diaper, no one knows. And I'm like, how long? Because then, after this all goes down, he starts walking down the road, and then Red Shirt is saying something like, come back over here, whatever. So then the baby comes running back. And then they just go about their whatever. And I'm like, how long was it before someone realized this kid does not have a diaper on? And where is the diaper? Like, were they just walking around the whole day like, what happened to the diaper? It was just the funniest thing. It was the funniest thing. And I'm like, oh no, no more tea. I'm just like, what goes on in this house? You know what I mean? Because I see what goes on in the driveway, in the street. The middle kid was outside the other day after it had rained. Parents were outside. His parents were outside. The road kind of goes like this, and then the driveway is like kind of tilt down. So when it rains, the rain kind of goes into the road and then drains down, right? Well, there's always like, if it rains a bunch, there's like a little puddle all along the street until it drains. Well, the middle kid, he almost started like doing push-ups in at the end of Nurseman's driveway, or the empty driveway now, and then he leans all the way down and starts slurping the rainwater that was in the puddle. How are these kids alive? How? I don't know, but I'm like, oh my God, no one saw this except us. But the parents were outside. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Yikes, you know. Anyway, so yes, that is all the neighborhood gossip. It's not gossip, it's just what the hell's going on type stuff. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching.